This should infuriate you because it shows you just how broken, backwards, corrupt, and stupid the system is. So ABC News said the following. Flight cancellations. American Airlines was forced to cancel hundreds of flights this weekend due to significant staff shortages and maintenance issues. The airline says it will continue to cancel 50 to 80 flights a day well into July. So that's what's currently going on with American Airlines. Now, you might hear that and say, okay, that sucks, that's bad, but I don't understand. Why is Kyle talking about this? Doesn't he usually do more political commentary, economic commentary? Seems like a strange story to bring up. Seems very niche. Well, the response to that is, no, it's not, because just recently, when COVID first hit, American Airlines got nearly $7 billion in bailout money. $7 billion. And you're canceling flights now? Well, then why do we give you that money? Why do we give you the bailout money if you weren't going to be operational or you weren't going to be up to the task when things rebound? But it gets worse. So they got $7 billion in bailout money. They paid their CEO about $10 million. I thought that it's supposed to be tied to your performance. I thought that that's the way a meritocracy and capitalism is supposed to work. Hey, the better you do, the more you're going to get compensated. Did he do better? The airlines almost all went belly up. So why'd you pay him $10 million? Why'd you pay? So he got $10 million, the CEO. Guess what? The CEO got $10 million. Then they laid off at the same time 30,000 people. So look at all those facts. $7 billion bailout for American Airlines. The CEO was paid $10 million at the same time. They laid off 30,000 workers. And now they're forced to cancel hundreds of flights this weekend due to significant staff shortages and maintenance issues. They're going to cancel 50 to 80 flights a day well into July. Yeah. Understand something, guys. It's time for a brand new law to put on the books. Any company that takes bailout money and lays people off and pays exorbitant CEO rates should be instantly nationalized. Instantly. Because it's a scam. Like, all the facts I just described you are a scam. And it should be treated as such. That should be treated as a scam. It should be treated as fraudulent. It should be criminal. Listen, it's time when CEOs commit crimes, when owners of giant corporations commit crimes, it's time to start locking some people up. Why is it law and order only applies to, petty crimes for, a convenience store? Never applies to Wall Street or the military-industrial complex or to people with real power in the country, to oligarchs. By the way, where did the $7 billion go? You got bailed out. The whole idea of the bailout is we want to make sure everything keeps running smoothly in society, so the taxpayers are going to rush in and bail you out so we can make sure everything's okay, and when people need to fly, they have the ability to fly. We're not going to let all the airlines go belly up. So you got bailed out, and then that thing that wasn't supposed to happen is happening. So you guys probably return that $7 billion then now, shouldn't you? You were paid the money to make sure everything keeps working, and it's not working. So give the money back. Where'd that money go? Where'd the $7 billion go? This is unbelievable, man. And again, this is stuff that will not be talked about in the way it should be talked about. You turn on the nightly news, and they go through a list of, petty crimes, whether it's assaults or, like I said, stealing from a convenience store or something, and they try to scare you. These are the people in society you need to be afraid of. The poor is doing terrible things. What they don't tell you is the criminals wearing suits and ties. They don't tell you about that too much. And they certainly don't dive into what the answers are and what the solutions would be. So, just so you understand, guys, we have the worst of all worlds when it comes to our system. Because under a pure laissez-faire capitalist system, which, by the way, I don't support that, but under even that system, you know what a guy like Ron Paul would say looking at this? You shouldn't have bailed him out. Why would you even fucking bail him out? If they're not making it, tough cookies. They're going to go out of business. Some other airline will pop up and maybe they'll fill the demand when the time is necessary, but they should go out of business. That's what an actual libertarian would say. So this isn't even just capitalism. You know what it is? This is corporatism. Because it is the government rushing in and taking tax money and bailing out the corporations. This is like a corporatocracy. So it's the worst of all worlds. It's too big to fail. It's privatize the profits and socialize the losses. This is exactly what we saw with Wall Street, with the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession in 2008. This is exactly what we saw. The same thing. Same thing. These companies went belly up. The CEOs made horrendous decisions that bankrupted themselves. Then the federal government stepped in, bailed out a lot of these companies. Then those companies turned around and paid bonuses to the same people that just made all the terrible decisions and bankrupted their companies. The system is a joke. The system is completely rigged. And this is what you get when you have money in politics and when you have campaign contributions, which are just legal bribes, and you have all these big corporations and all these billionaires giving money to politicians, then politicians look out for them because they get paid by them. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. This is the system. Legal bribery. And so that's why, would you look at that? Anytime there's a bailout, it's always top down in this country. Never bottom up. They didn't step in 08 and say, Jesus Christ, we have to bail out the people, the homeowners, because they're going to be kicked out of their houses. The houses are going to be foreclosed on. We got to stop this. No, they gave the money to the corporations that gave out the predatory loans. And then you still got foreclosed on. What? It's rigged. The whole system is rigged. This is such a great example of it. Tell me why we shouldn't nationalize American Airlines. Give me a good reason why we shouldn't nationalize it. Why shouldn't we nationalize it? If you're going to bail them out $7 billion, the CEO gets $10 million, and you fire 30,000 workers, why the fuck shouldn't we bail them out? Everything went wrong. Everything that could have went wrong did go wrong. It's a scam. It's fraudulent. This is what's happening here. And of course, there's going to be no consequences. That's the reality. There will be no consequences for this. Talk about a house of cards economy. And we haven't even gotten into the eviction moratorium ending and rent surging and Wall Street buying up all the houses and making them out of reach. That's the whole BlackRock story. I haven't even discussed that. But this one example right here really is just the perfect encapsulation, the microcosm of just how fake the economy is and how fraudulent and scammy everything is. It's embarrassing. It's honestly embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And everybody knows it. Everybody sees it. Everybody knows this is a rotten, disgusting, corrupt system that doesn't represent them. Everybody sees it. How can you not see it? When you hear all the facts I just said, how do you not see it? Playing with fire, man. Playing with fire. Lock these fuckers up. No more bailouts, or if there are going to be bailouts, they're for shit sure better be strings attached, and rigid ones at that. Everything should be clearly defined. But understand, this was the point. This was the point of like the CARES Act. This was the point. Oh my God, we have a pandemic and an economic downturn. Let's use this as an excuse to just make it rain on all the corporations and make it rain on the billionaires and give them more money. You go look at the numbers. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but how much richer billionaires got, how much more rich they got during this pandemic. How much more money Jeff Bezos has. You go look. Meanwhile, everybody else is struggling. This is infuriating. This is infuriating.